just trying to go. Right, we are live. Let's see if we get anybody. Only thing is with StreamYard is you just can't see when people come in.
I'm going to get it up on my phone.
Yeah, put another one up on your phone.
There's nobody here yet anyway.
No.
My dishwasher's making a really weird noise. I hope people can't hear it.
I can't hear it.
Good. Have a couple of minutes. Let some people come on in. Nope, we've got a couple of people. Still won't tell me who it is. We've got Angelique, we've got Arlinda, and we've got Justin. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Just have a minute or two, see if anybody else comes in. Oh, God, we've got subtitles. Oh, dear. We'll just have a minute, everybody, then we'll get going. All right, shall we just start?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nikki from Lost Soul Paranormal. We have also got the lovely Gemma from Lost Soul Paranormal, and we are talking to the fabulous Mr. Garry Fields tonight. Want to say hi, Gary?
Good evening, ladies. How are you?
We're not too bad.
Very good, very good. So we're just having a bit of a chat basically tonight. Gary has kindly agreed to be our guest medium for us. Well, at most of our events, to be quite honest. We take him everywhere. He's our favourite scouser. But yeah, he's kindly agreed to be our guest medium along with Jolene Jackson-Lockwood at the Corn Exchange event in September, which we're really looking forward to. So we hope that tonight we'll just have a chat with Gary, introduce him to anybody that might not know him, although I'm not entirely certain that's possible. Everybody knows Gary.
He gets about a bit, doesn't he?
So yeah, Gary, do you want to start us off and just tell us a little bit about what you do and what you kind of bring to events?
Well, I'd say my path is basically I'm a helper, I'm a healer. So in and around spirits, just try and put the links together and the connections together of what they were about when they were on this life and lived on this plane, you know, when they were around in their times, be it what era and what century. And I would safely say working with spirits, it's trying to work things one for one and not just get bombarded. So it's nice to ask spirits to wait and work with you in a respectful way where it works on both ways, like a meeting or a conference call. And, you know, if spirits don't pay respect, then I ask them to step back and I'll work with the ones that's in and around present and being polite and nice, you know what I mean? So, again, I just love working with spirits and communicating. And I'm on my path, and I've been on the path 13 years, doing readings and stuff like that, as well as Reiki and everything else. So there's just so many tools in the tool locker now, so it just keeps expanding, which is always nice. And you get run off into different areas and try different things, and if you don't give it a go, you never know, you know.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I mean, the people who come to our events might already know how you kind of work. You do a lot of transfiguration stuff, which I think some people find a little bit freaky at
It's
first.
unreal, yeah.
What I do does amaze me with that is, you know, you'll spend 6 hours, like even when we went to the Park Hotel the other week, and we got to the bottom of the story at the end of the night from the start of the investigation, and I'm showing spirits, and then everyone's still waiting for the trigger objects to go off, and I'm like, I'm showing you spirits, I'm showing you who's in the room, I'm showing what you're trying to capture, and yeah, it doesn't show up on film half the time, don't get me wrong. So it has a different filter with the naked eye to actually what you can catch on film or in a mirror or scrying or anything like that as well. So when you're asking a spirit to mix and blend with you and bring them forward, they might have been waiting 120 years or 300 years or 80 years, 25 minutes. It doesn't matter. It's just, and sometimes it does get a little bit frustrating when you go in. Everything I'm trying to explain is what you're actually seeing now, that's blending and forming and showing and shaping. So with my energy and like my battery pack, the spirit are also working really hard to mix and blend and communicate with me to actually give that visual response. And what they want to come forward just as I want to help and show them. Do you know what I mean? So it's that nice response where my spiritual team and my guide always work in a way where there's always a nice understanding where, you know, if there's somebody boisterous, I'll just hold them back. So there's always a time and a place for different things, I think, around the paranormal field. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think with the Transfiguration stuff as well, I think a lot of people who've maybe not seen it before or maybe don't know how it works, I think it's been possessed. You know, I think that something's going to take over them or take over you. And I mean, that's not how it is it? So if anybody's kind of worried about that upcoming, then don't be.
If you imagine walking into a spiritualist church to give people readings, the heightened energy that's in there, I am a high energy medium. So when you've done your Monday to Friday job and you're going out on an investigation on a Friday or a Saturday night and being a high energy medium, spirits are drawn to your white light. So they go, oh, he's going to be working later on. So they just get attracted to you and they just want to know what I'm about as much as I want to bring them and connect with them and give their story. So it's like, if you can imagine, in front of me is the veil where people connect with spirits coming down through the veil. I'm bringing the veil all the way around me. So I'm trying to give you that field of, like, I always say it's like a timeline. So you can have a timeline around you with the veil around you and mixing and blending. It's like, the phrase is seeing is believing. So I'm trying to show you the energy that's around. And I can safely say a lot of people don't get it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But again, to explain it, sometimes I am always that busy. So sometimes I don't really get a lot of time to explain the mixing, the blending, the connecting with the energy, the way that they're stepping forwards. So realistically, a lot of energies that connect with you, I'll ask them to come in from behind so people can see the blend coming forward and then overshadowing and then, so it's like as if I'm in the mirror of the portal of the energy, and then I'm trying to build that. It takes some energy for the spirit to build. So again, I'm the battery pack. So yeah, we do get drained, we do get tired, we do need to recharge. I'd safely say I've gone through that period now the last few weeks where I have had a busy 2.5, 3 years has been full non-stop as well through what we've all gone through. But again, it's just time to relax time now, put my feet up, but go again with the investigations, you know. So
it's not something you do a lot, is it? Stop.
No, I know.
No,
does he know how to stop?
Well, I think between Friday and Monday tea time, I've got about 1,500-mile round trips to do. We've got 2 round trips of 1,500 miles to do. So again, I just enjoy being on the road and connecting. And like last night, I was just chilling out and I got a little book that I have in my van, and I put little places down that I'm drawn to if someone's mentioning somewhere like an abbey or a stately hall or a home. And then if I get somewhere and I'm having a coffee and I'm like, oh, where's quite close to this location, 20 minutes away, I'll go there before I go on and invest. So again, it's just nice to get around and about and link into all these places where people have lived before us and pick up their evidence of what they were about in their time and days. You know, it's just, you just can't buy it. Do you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I think going back to school so many years ago, it was like I wasn't into history, but now it's just like so fascinating. And you have that different concept of where working spiritually, you're getting the buildings, the history, the communication, it's all just coming alive. And it's just like a hotbed of everything just goes tenfold when I'm around, you know. And then, we get flat nights. That's great. Don't mind a flat night. Again, it always is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Have you got always going to be lively, is that?
No, we know that all too well, don't we? And it becomes this really vicious circle because if it's flat and you're bored, you get tired and you get cold. I mean, we all know I'm the most tired and the most cold person you've ever met in your life. I will nap anywhere.
I was going to say, we don't want a flat night with you around.
I think the coldest place I've ever napped was in the bloody steam room at Kate's gym.
Oh, that was a good
That
place.
was so cold. Yeah. But Garry, go on.
I was just going to say, do you remember, even on the cold places as well, you get drawn to certain rooms that aren't cold. The building's cold, but we go in a room and it's not cold, you know, like De Gea Street. And we had that
everywhere was called at De Grey Street, Garry.
I've not had the pleasure of that place yet.
I looked like I'd escaped from the Arctic that night. It was shocking.
But the energies were alive, weren't they? To me, it was just heightened. So when you're getting the connection and you're working, you know, I always stay quite warm. You know, it's.
I mean, De Grey Street, I wasn't expecting anything because the stories about it isn't there. Everybody's, you know, but I tried not to listen to it, and I was just so desperate to get out investigating because it was just after all the lockdowns, and I thought, I'm going to go with Garry and Linda, and we'll just, whatever it is, we'll have a great time. And I think because we went into that not expecting a huge amount, how good was it?
Yeah, it was from start to finish, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the door slammed in your face, didn't it? Got pushed open into your face as well. And
that was probably, I don't know whether that was because I'd got to my cold and tired point and I'd taken myself off for a walk with Gary's camera. And he says, just, you know, Gary's live camera that he carries with him everywhere. And I went to walk out of the door in this back bedroom. And, you know, when somebody comes through a door from the other side and they kind of push it into you and you just go, oh, sorry. That happened. Somebody pushed the door into me. I fully expected to see one of the other teams behind the door and there was nobody there. I nearly jumped on Linda's lap. Poor Linda.
I wish I could have gone.
It was good. Road trip in Gary's van.
Yeah. So looking forward to it. I put my swivel seats in now, so I've got more access and more room as well. So we can have more of a picnic in the back as well and get some food.
I'll take that as an invitation, yeah.
Well, definitely.
I'll take it to. Where are we going?
Anywhere, you know me. Just love getting out and about. And again, I always say to people, life's too short. Don't you ever stop. Yeah, when I'm tired, I'll slow down. But, you know, to me, life is too short. It's all about trying to it's about the balance with life and working with spirit and what you do professionally Monday to Friday as well. So I'm very blessed with a lot of holidays of 13 weeks holiday. So that's a massive, massive bonus, you know.
Oh God, yeah, that is nice, and thankfully I get most of my weekends back now. I've changed my little job.
I know.
So
more investigating,
more available for gallivanting. Can't wait. Yep. So Garry, I was going to ask you, where is your all-time favourite UK investigation? What's it been?
Personally, for me, the links, the ties, the connections that spiritually with past lives for me has been Stirling Castle.
Oh, that surprises me.
Not from an investigation side of it. I like going back to your roots. My Reiki Master, she had links and connection with one of her guides who stepped away from her when she's took a backward step. They stepped in and around my team, but he had links with Stirling Castle, her guide. So that was like a spiritual homecoming where even walking up, I arrived in Edinburgh and I just drove 6 hours or 5 hours. And my friend said, where do you want to go first in Edinburgh? I said, Stirling Castle. He's like, you just drove all this way and you already want to go to Stirling Castle. And I was coming off the slip roads and I think you go past the horses with the two heads.
The kelpies, yeah.
And as I'm driving past there and we're going up to Stirling, it was about 2 mile out of Stirling coming off the slip road. And I said to my friend, did you hear that? He said, what? I got welcome home, sire. As clear as day. And I just went, wow, that just blew my mind away. You know, because you're driving, you're talking, you're not even looking for anything spiritually. And when I got into Stirling town, I got welcome home, sire. And I was just like, I could have crashed the car. I was just like, I just virtually froze. And that takes some doing for me because, you know, as a medium, you get it from all angles, you know, below, above and everything. And sometimes you get a pre-warning of things that's going to happen. I think that was something that really took my breath away. And then the tour I did there around Scotland, we went to Dean Castle. So if you go on All Things Paranormal and you see the castle there or one of the other pages I've got, Dean Castle, there's so much history there that Scotland don't know what's inside the castle, that they're not allowed to say what's inside the castle, but the history of it and what's gone on there. And I was picking up prior to that. and I was giving information out, and then the person that was virtually owns Dean Castle come out and then give the information of what I've just given. I was just like, wow, it was just the way things tied in, and you're at a location and you can see things and reenactments of what's gone on, and cine films, and it just all works in different ways. So as a medium, you get different filters. So some days you see cine films, some days you get the talking, some days you get the black and white images, then you're seeing spirits. You know, there's an energy build up in the corner, or something's going to happen in that next room. So your guide, I always call it, your cackles go up, don't they, when there's something starts really getting heightened, or there's a big energy change or an energy shift. So again, I always say it's all about being on the ball and on the mark, but spirits will test you to the limit when you're tired.
Yeah.
And that's where you've got to be like your heightened, switched on. And when you're tired and you want to take the foot off the gas, it's like when I come home, I do certain things when I've been on investigation. So I'll always try and unwind for an hour just to make sure everything's settled and everything as it was prior to going on the investigation in and around my property, and make sure that everything was settled when I've left an investigation in the building, and make sure, you know, everybody's okay as well. But I just like interacting with people and giving them what I receive as a medium. So as I'm receiving stuff, it's not about giving the information out straight away to the public or straight away to people on the invests. I'm trying to express the energy change, the shift. When you get an energy shift or a temperature shift in and around the room, and it goes like electric, that's what people don't see when you're watching it on the TV. So that's the experience of when you're going on an investigation and you're coming along on the events, to experience that. Wow, that was totally different. That was totally changed. I can understand where that's come from. I understand what's gone on, certain objects or anything that's going on and building, or trigger objects going off. It's experiencing that as well. I mean, when we went to the Park Hotel, I described that, the lady in the flowing dress and the swirl. And then we went off into another room in the corner, and then there was that picture, wasn't there? The exact picture of what I just described.
I wasn't with you. I was with Joe.
In that room, and it was just like my jaw just dropped to the ground. It was just like, that's the image I've just been seeing, and describing the person of what the lady was wearing as well. So
if you remember, it was like that at Bosworth. You remember?
No, Bosworth. Yeah, Bosworth.
In the speaker's room, the portrait of what did Penny call him?
What I loved about Bosworth.
Yeah.
What I loved about Bosworth was doing the talk for like 90 minutes, and like non-believers could actually see how I work and take on board of what I was saying and demonstrating it and explaining, and the development side of it, of how everyone can work in and around the way I work, or the mediumship side of it works, and you know, to get people that's never experienced that going, I can understand what you're trying to explain now. I can understand how everything works from your development days from early on to where you are now. You can see where people are up onto their levels in their spiritual journey, you know. So it's trying to pick up on where people are up to on their spiritual journey. But Bosworth, to me, I loved it where we were investigating on the Sunday night, and all the effort and everybody had put together, and I described.
I wasn't there, Gary.
It was great.
I was describing a wedding that took place, and somebody had a foot injury, and obviously there was a bit of
that was that story, wasn't it?
A bit of a breakage on the bone on this gentleman, this footman. And then Patty Negri walked in and then just give the same information about somebody's ankle being sore.
Name drop.
Yeah, well, they're the times where you go in, yeah, fair dues. You know, it's like when other people are picking up on the same information, it's like...
I was going to say, it's good to have confirmation from somebody else that that's the way you're thinking, isn't it?
Yeah, because, I see the images. It's validation for yourself where... You know, if other people are experiencing it and getting what they're getting, and it's just nice to have. It's nice to have that clarity. Like, yeah, you can sense what we've just been describing. You can sense what's just been going on in this room, and that's your validation. And all you want, your validation. I will write things down prior to it happening. I will write things down prior to going to the jail in Birmingham. And at the end of the night, I've transfigurated the gentleman through who was describing 2 days before and had sealed it in the envelope. It's because spirits are calling you. They want to work with you. They want to connect with you. So they know where you're going to be up to and be sitting before them or in and around them, especially spirits on readings and that. People come to you a few days before and, you know, Garry, we need you here. Garry, we need you there. And some days you can have a child crying or what's that about? And you could have somebody that just needs help to go to the white light that's been around, that they've not heard, their story's not been heard, but you can hear a child for 2 days, 6 weeks, 6 months. So you go along to places and locations to help and support and get the understanding of the spirit energies that's around and about and help them. Again, helping and a healer. You know, we never stop learning. So it's all about trying to tick the boxes for everything spiritually, but having the balance where it's not 100% where you're just all on spirit. So when you start working spiritually, you want to be doing it all the time, but you've got to have the switch and the cut-off points as well to say, I need a window. So you get used to having your windows.
Yeah, I'm just going through these comments now. Yeah, Justin saying, Markham, guys, you were bang on.
Just, again, it's at one point we walked up the stairs in Morecambe and I said to Justin, I said, I feel like I've just been pinned up against the wall. So this was right at the top level, just on the top of the staircase. And it was like a secret society up there, basically. So they had their own little men's room up there, or society that went on 100 years ago and that. And it was like, where do you think you're going? So that spirit energy was like virtually like today's bouncer and gone, you can't come in here, you've not got access. And I was like, woof. So always give what you're sensing at the time. And that tied in a little bit later with other people experiencing of walking through that same energy or portal again. So other teams we tie in at the end of the night and we share their experiences, and that's what it's about. They're going, yeah, we had a similar thing that happened to us, 2 hours ago, and you've experienced it as well.
Yeah, that's kind of why we do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Confirmation of bits and pieces. So while we're talking about awesome venues, Garry, let's talk about the Corn Exchange.
Yeah. One of my little favorite.
Yeah.
One of my little favorite places.
And while we're name dropping, we have got Mike and Chris from the Tennessee Wraith Chasers joining us, and we have got the lovely Garry and Jolene as our guest mediums. You do want to come to this event. I'll put the link on in a minute. So Garry, you have been with us before to the Corn Exchange. We've only been once.
We've only been once, yeah.
Have I? I thought I'd been.
You have? No,
I thought I'd been twice, actually.
No, you've been once.
I've been once, yeah. Well, I've had
can't have been without us.
Good experiences there. Nice location, and to take the history of the building in, that's where, again, it comes alive. I'll ask the century, the decades to come through in different stages, so one session you might get the 1890s, the next session after the break you might get 2019 or something around that period as well. So different periods come through as well, and that's what I love about going to all these locations.
Was there a standout kind of happening for you there?
And without giving too much away, I enjoyed downstairs.
I knew you'd say that.
Yeah.
That was more of like, I'm like, can you see that spirit energy walking towards us? You can sense the spirits walking towards you. You can feel the energies to one side in different rooms on the little alcoves, and without giving too much away. But even on the walk around as well, even in the hub, to me, it's just busy as a medium, and even in today's times, you could have walking up to the building outside, you can sense the activity of it's waiting to come alive and giving you the more information again. Great when people get the validation, great when people have done their investigation, but sharing it with the teams and Jolene and the stuff and the link and the connections that she gets as well, and it just seems to all bounce off each other as well. So my experiences from there is I like to write things down prior to getting something or an evidence or something on the an EVP and stuff like that, and then wow, I was just talking about that person, and then you'll write an age down and then you'll get the age. So try and give a little bit of validation through my pads where I'm going, that's what I'm receiving now. And then we've just got that piece of evidence. So again, even with the laser grid session down there as well, I thought was really
that was really good.
Top draw with the laser grid as well.
Was I there? Where was I?
I don't know. I was there.
There was loads of the cat balls were going off as well at the same time. As soon as we put the equipment out, it was just starting to attract the spirits towards us and working with us as well. And
and the balcony as well, the movement on the balcony, that's always a bit.
Yeah, one of the units on the top floor as well was quite active as well, wasn't it? When I was in with you, Gary.
What would say about even? I think they've got the old stage there, haven't they? The platform where they do like
the auctioneers little.
Yeah.
The
auctioneers. So even going quite close to that, you sense in the history around the actual wards, and I always say to people, touch a church door or touch the auctioneer's stand, because that just charges everything as well. So you might not have a spirit in and around you, but when you're putting your energy in and around it as well, you're mixing and blending, and everything just seems to heighten. Do you know what I mean? So you're bringing to the table your energy, and everything just seems to heighten. So I'll always say to people, even if you go out for a break or go outside, ask for spirits to show you stuff, what it was like in the time in your mind's eye. And some people can just go, oh my God, I wasn't expecting that. Just seeing a cine clip of a horse and cart walking down the outside, and or a bale of this, or something happening on, or there's a lady over there. And even when we was on the other side, on the top floor in the Corn Exchange, we were getting drawn to the other room right over the opposite side. And that person, that spirit energy came out and about, and it was like, hey, you lot over here. And that just seemed to be going on all night as well.
I think the advantage is as well, it's not a heavily investigated building either.
Yeah, and I always find with that it's like much lighter, so it's much fresher where the communication can be more subtle in a way of like go with the flow with the way that they're trying to work spiritually, and not I don't mean demanded all the time where places are overdone. It's just one of them locations where it's nice to experience it and go, I remember that chapter. And I would say to people, bring a pad, write it down, what you sense. And when you look back, and if you go there and revisit it, it's always nice to revisit places again.
Which we are doing.
Which we are doing.
Very exciting. Yeah. So we're moving on from kind of these feelings and experiences you get in these different places. Going on what happened last time, what do you think is going to work best investigation technique wise? Are we going to go old school with some tables and tipping and boards, or are we going to go tech, or what do you think?
I love the old school. I would always say to somebody, simplistic way of investigating is always the best way. And today's way that people use the tech's great. It's all a mixture of, I would say, the right place, the right time. You'll go if it's quiet, you'll go to this equipment, or you'll try that. And I've seen things where even people have done the mobile phones, and they put the loudspeaker on, they put it in the other room, and they're getting stuff like that. Well, when I first started investigating, we even tried experiments with the old paper cups and the string.
Oh yeah.
And what we actually did, we actually didn't have anybody on the other end of the string in the paper cup. We actually like jammed it in the door, so the cup was on the other side, listening into a room that nobody was in. And you're like, I'm sure I've just heard something. And you're like, oh my word, simplistic things.
That is old school, guys. Is that before they invented the wheel?
When everything was in black and white.
Back in the day.
Yeah, but then again, I would say, if you go back to basics and move forwards, so you can do it through, if we're there 6 hours, you can do one session of, we'll go old school for an hour. Second session, keep it old school, and then you can mix it up and work around as well. So it's always nice to mix and blend. But again, sometimes where I'm working, I know there's other stuff going off in another room, or if someone's going into that room, you sense that you're like, okay, I've got to slow down here. I need to be around them people just to know what's coming in that area as well. So sometimes you do find yourself drifting and going, just give us 5 minutes. I just need to go and be around them two people there, because I just know somebody's quite close to them at the moment that's in
We're
and
just going
around.
to spend all night rounding you up, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
We need a lead for him.
And
Gary
as I said to Mike and Chris, I'm not Gary the weirdo. I am like Gary the spiritualist medium that's I'm trying to explain. Everyone works in different ways. There's no right or wrong ways with mediumship. It's like
creepy Gary, as they call it.
Creepy Gary.
Creepy Gary, that was the one, yeah. So, and I'm like, again, it's like if you think you've got a great team there coming over from the USA and they've not experienced what we experience, don't forget there's totally different history and time periods over here to what's over in the USA. I mean, many a time that they say like investigating somewhere that they've not investigating in the UK is like tenfold for them, isn't it? It's like, if we go to York or we go to Leeds, we go to Edinburgh, it's totally, we know what to expect. We get that buzz around that older energies coming through. And I always see a lot of things in the streets of London and like Sherlock Holmes days and stuff like that. So I had a friend from Edinburgh contact me the other week, where should I go in York and what should I do in London? So I will say, go and walk around there for an hour. Not going on a specific bus or anything like that, but just going into the building, have your breakfast in there or have your lunch in there and see what you sense. And some of the pictures I've had sent back just to people experiencing what I've experienced around the Tower of London just blows my mind away. It's just like, wow. But
we're
again,
not taking him to London, it's a bit far.
No, it's a bit far, isn't it?
It's a short journey, isn't it, for me? So
we're going to York. We are having a day in York.
Yeah, York is amazing. But the Corn Exchange,
£1 million.
Obviously, again, it's a working environment of today's time as well. So you will get modern time things coming in and around as well, So it's, again, working out what's going on. And some of the pictures we've seen that we've had captured there as well, where we can sense that person that was calling us on the top floor on the other side when we were on the other end. It was just like, wow, just great, just amazing. You've got to experience it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Right, so I did have a load of questions for you, but we've just completely gone off on a tangent, as we
do. Good evening, folks.
Oh dear. So
has anybody got any questions?
Yeah, Angelique says Corn Exchange was a good night. Angelique, you need to come back. Are you coming with us, or is this one you're on holiday for? Can't remember, but you need to come with us. And Lou Logan, hello. Lou, you need to come with us too. Did you get the night off? So, Gary, while we're waiting for some questions, tell us about your TV stuff. You're Garry Fields TV medium.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I don't label myself, but it's just my very good friend off the Michael D. He actually set that page up for me, and he took the photographs. That was in actually one of Michael Owen's stately homes on the actual on the actual page. And I worked with the Past Hunters. I've done a Sky pilot with Bex and Sean in the Past Hunters and Dave and the team as well, and we just had a good crack and a good go at it. And then I think after the Sky, we went off into
You've done some Amazon Prime stuff. I've seen the Amazon stuff.
Yeah, I've done a few Amazon Primes with 5 or 6 teams. I like to get invites, basically, and I've had a lot of people come up to me, and I don't mean take ideas, but it's like they'll go and get set up, and I'm like, good luck. That's what it's about. Good luck. Your path. Go and follow what you need to follow. But I always, again, try and experience of what I experience and put that out there on the time on the Amazon Prime. So I've done about 5 or 6 shows on Amazon Prime as well. And when we was with the Past Hunters, Mr. Akora came in and he done the next series. And obviously I just went on my own path then. I just like, you don't really need 2 mediums in and around the same show, you know what I mean? So it's just like, we just went our separate ways, nothing, no fallout or nothing. And I think it was actually at Plaz Teg, and I've worked with some amazing people out there, and in the UK, and I've met some amazing people from America. And again, it's just like experiencing your night. You know, you go to Plasteg and you're walking around Plasteg, and you know, you're talking to Cornelia, and she's like giving you validation of what you're saying. Of, oh yeah, that's my old butler.
Sounds like something's landing in your back garden, Garry.
Yeah, I've actually got decided. But
how close to the airport are you?
The River Mersey is about 5 minutes down that way, and then over the River Mersey is John Lennon Airport. But to get round, it's about half an hour. But it's as the crow flies, it's about 20 minutes, if that.
Sounded like that were coming down in your garden.
So again, I just love working with different teams and getting invites. I just enjoy it. You know, I will drive miles and I will go along, and you know, I've done it all out of my own pocket. You know what I mean? I think the first year I'd done about 18,000 miles.
Madness.
And I think I burnt the engine out in the BMW, basically.
I'm surprised that BMW was still limping around by the time you got rid of it. It seemed more motorway than I don't know what.
Yeah, so again, but we've had some great times, you know, just getting to places, but driving through, and I love it where you right, I've got this address down here. I'm going to pop into this building, and like you're an hour away from your location, or you're investing. You always try and go early, and you get drawn to somewhere else, and you're like, oh my God, that was mind blowing. You know what I mean? And it's hard in the winter because you like to see it in the daytime, don't you? So this time of year, just walking around, I've got a few lives I like to do, and what I always try and do is, I've got a few lives to do where that go back to basics with me live on my TV page, and that is just basically experience what I'm experiencing as I'm walking. So I'll give walking from A to B. I might walk a mile, I might walk around a location. So I always like to walk around the location on a live, sit in the location for a bit, having a drink in the hub, and then you start hearing things getting you drawn to different parts of the location, be it churchyard next door, or the bottom of the stately home, or the kissing table down the bottom of it. Like in Plasteg, you've got like corners of the old halls where couples would drift off and stuff like that. So you get drawn to different parts, or the attic, or the basement, and the libraries and everything. So you just don't know what you're uncovering, you know. And many years ago, you would have I'd be watching programs on the TV, and you're giving information before the mediums telling you stuff that you were actually watching that they've recorded, and then they give the same information out. You're just like, wow, I'm just picking up on what's around in the building as well. So that's again amazing validation, you know. Even when you're with somebody and you're going, oh, there's a lady there in the dress and there was a fire, and then you say, oh, this person went out the window and they were on fire, and you're just like, so
there you've got it. Yeah,
it's little snippets like that. So you can link in to TV programs as well, and a lot of people don't understand that. So if somebody mentions something, that heightens things tenfold. So your aura or your energy, what you've been around. So if you're working one day in a hospital and you're walking down a corridor, I'll see somebody behind you that's you might not have picked up on because you're in your daily job or something, and then you're just like, she's got a story to tell, and you're just
Garry,
like,
that's really weird that you've just said that. Was that just something random you've pulled out, or was that something for me?
No, so I feel something's been following you, but that's
Joe gave me this about 2 months ago at work.
As they say, it's like leaky mediumship, but because I'm not talking you to face in front of me, so it's always better face to face when, you know, I'm explaining what's gone on as well. And I'm going to safely say I feel like she's a prodder, or she'd be poking you in the back and really pestering you for your attention.
Yeah, Joe's given me the same thing, and I've said for it, what we all know that you and Joe you do have this connection when you work together, and you do bounce off each other, and you work really, really well. And that's why I just thought, is that for me? Because Joe has given me this already, and I've not told you.
But they're the little things that make so much. Like you'll see a vision, or you'll have a dream of that lady, or she'll have a ring to pass on to a loved one, or you might say somebody comes in of a family member of the same name that somebody's worked in that building, that's a family link or a connection. You don't know where the link or the connection is going to take you.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So obviously we know that you and Joe work really well together. We've got Joe coming with us to Corn Exchange, which is super exciting, although we are splitting you up. Sorry, guys. So you do some platform stuff with Jo. You do her evenings that are psychic suppers, which I've been to, and they are fabulous. So you do your paranormal investigation, you do your readings, you do your healing, you do your platform stuff. What's your favourite? What would you do if you could have the choice every week?
I'm going to be cheeky here and say get back in my time travel machine. if you can imagine that. So just imagine being like Doctor Who. It'd be mind blowing. I'd safely say there's different modes. So your paranormal mode is if I'm reading for somebody in front of me and it's a tarot reading or there's cards, that just opens the locker for any spirits to come in and around. Then you give what you give them spiritually. So there's always a time and a place. So I've been on investigations and people have gone, oh, do loads of readings on the interval. And you're like, it's having a marathon or going out for a sprint. So you're in a different frame of mind to investigating. Your senses are more heightened because you're trying to protect everything. You're trying to make sure low and high energies are working, that they're not out of order, basically, or taking too much, bombarding somebody too much. So, but when you're doing a reading, it's more flowing and pleasant, where you're asking for more of a softer natured energy to come through and work around family members and that. So it is like doing a run or a sprint or a marathon. So again, it's preparation. So again, I was trying to be professional. The platform work, it's like, I do go off on a tangent, and I like to put the high energies in there with a little bit of a spin and a joke in and around, where spirits are showing me something that might not want to be shown to that person, but they can take on board what you're saying without going OTT, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's nice to keep the room buzzing and high and stuff like that. And it's nice when you get skeptical people. And I think the last platform night we worked, I think I'd safely say spiritually working, there was that many tissues handed out that night. It was just, you've done your job if spirits are touching.
Without cry.
They're crying and touching the loved ones. I mean, I've just gone out and bought new packets of tissues there for the next platform night again. So it's always nice to be stacked up with the tissues and that. But you've done your job when you're getting that connection, the link, the bonds, the information, and you've not met that person before, and they're like, boom, yeah, I can relate with that person, or that person stood behind you. You'll feel them touch you on your shoulder, and you go hot or cold within a minute, and they're like, oh my God, I'm burning up on this side straight away. So the spirit's coming really close as well. And sometimes what I do as well is I'll close my eyes in front of people, because they will use that person as the battery pack, and I'll get the cine film of the spirits that stood behind them. So I'll ask the spirits to blend and show themselves to me sometimes. So if the spirit doesn't want to show themselves as like a shadow person or formal what they're wearing, I can blink my eyes and I get the blend of the facial feature of the person I'm reading for, and I'm seeing the spirit behind them as well. So I ask them to mix and blend as well. So that's like a lot of ways I try and describe who's in and around them as well. So again, that's validation for me, because I'm asking the team, I'm trusting the team. And again, I just love all of it, Nick, to be honest. I'd say
we know
different frames of mind from doing your Reiki. I've done Reiki in my back room there, and I've had high energy angels come in, and I've had hierarchy spiritual energies come in, and I'm bowing. I'm like, I'm doing healing, and I'm bowing. I'm like, I can't pick my head up, because I feel graceful of that positive energy that's in and around. And I'm like humble. I feel humble. I'm like, oh my word, I do know who this is. I can relate with what's going on. And I feel like I'm bowing to certain high energies and the way they work with, to me, the 7 levels of light. And I'm like, wow, it just blows my mind away. So I do have a lot of positive energies around the house. I've been on an investigation, and my team's gone, somebody's trying to pull your positive portal out of the house. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So I'll wrap up and I'll protect the property. I'll shield it all 50 foot above, 50 foot below the house. So even on an investigation, you'll get spirits trying to affect things away that you from your comfort zone. So they'll always try and throw you curveballs as well. So you've got to be on the ball even when you're on an investigation.
Was there anything unsettling when you were actually getting the work done on your house?
To be honest with you, there was one point when we had that storm prior to Christmas. I think it was about a week before Christmas. I think I can honestly safely say I had 2 hours sleep that night, if that. It was just that busy. It was like a whirlwind of everything. It was just like, I'd say like Kansas. It was just like, it was just a whirlwind there. And I think that was one of the, not the lowest points, but that was one of the toughest points to break the back of keep moving forward. So that was the middle of the toughest point, was around that energy. Yeah. So I'd say that period there, you're talking like -5 and, you're just getting saturated with everything that's going on, as well as floods and everything else that was going on at the time. I had no electric for 5 weeks, 6 weeks. But you still keep going and you're like, next, what's going on next? Let's keep going next. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I had batteries and torches. It's just like crack on, don't you? You make the best of everything good. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying about them testing you to the limit. When you're tired, they will test you to the limit. So even if you go on an investigation the second week of January or something like that, you've had all that going on, but you're still out there, you're still going through it and you're still right, okay, next, what's next? What's next? Simplistic things can be a big thing. And I always try and not make mountains out of molehills. It's like, yeah, okay, crack on. What's next? We'll deal with that one thing at a time. And that's always the best process. But do everything with a smile on your face. You know what I mean? It's all about putting the positive energies out there, because it does bring tenfold positive energies back.
Nice way of thinking.
Yep, definitely.
Have we got any more questions in the comments? If anybody's got any burning questions to ask our Gaza, ask them now, because we're going to be wrapping up pretty soon.
Hi, Joe. You're right.
I can't even see who we've got on here because I'm using this stupid
Got our Rach is on. Our Rach is on.
I've seen our Ashman.
Our Rach is on. Sorry, Rach. Linda, Angelique. So again, just I just love getting out there. It's just great, and I think seeing people when they connect with people, they'll end up giving them a lift, and then they're part of the teams and the people that we mix with it and come along, and you're great friends. I mean, in the last 13 years, I think still keep in contact with so many people over the last 13 years. It's just been amazing. It's been an amazing roller coaster.
Good. Well, let's just quickly run through the other events that we've got coming up. So Lost Soul Paranormal have got an event at the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre in Hinckley. Gemma, hit me with the date because I'm not
June the
25th. We're also doing Keithley Underground Streets, which is a team share event only. Gary, I think you're coming to that with us, aren't you?
Yeah, what's the date again? Got me diary. My humble diaries here.
So don't lose that one.
About that diary.
Yeah.
Don't lose it.
Yeah. Oh gosh. But then again, that even in October, I lost my diary. That was to slow me down. It wasn't, So it's always a case of having a backup with 2 phones as well. So yeah, what date was the underground tunnels again? The
3rd of June.
3rd of June.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be in here.
Yeah. Are we sold out on that, Gemma? Are we sold out on streets, or is there any places left?
There is currently a couple of places left, but I think there's somebody interested. But
what, 2?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, if anybody fancies that, team only, please remember it's not going to be a guided and led investigation. It will just be a case of people who are already in teams, experienced investigators. It's just us sharing a venue. You'll be let to go off on your own, bring your own equipment, bring your own team, and
get the full experience
of investigating.
Yeah.
Have you ever been there, Gary?
Do you know what's funny? It actually came up the other night, the word Keeley, out the blue. I was talking to someone and it just come up Keeley. And I was like, wow. And I was talking to my friend and I went, look at that. We're going to these underground streets and this has just come up. And they're like, no way. I think Monday night, I was drawn to, my friend found a tunnel and I just went along there and within 10 minutes, I was knee deep in water in this tunnel up to the knees. We had torches and everything, and I could see stuff. And I linked in with another medium, and we had a little conversation. And they drew down on my page from Monday or Tuesday what I was seeing and experiencing of stuff from the war and stuff like that. They could see like this post room and little map cupboards, where map slots where all documentation was going in, and that's what I could see. So stuff like that, where it brings the story alive and it starts going off on a tangent, where what you've sensed 2 days before and seen 2 days before, you come home from work and then you're in a tunnel that's linked with the 1945s that you've just been seeing stuff with. You knee deep up in water and you're going through brambles out and everything on the other end. And I can still see this room now, and I can see signage, a haulage truck and all that as well. So it will tie in and fall into place. But again, doing a little bit of asking other people to do some research and looking into it, and you know, have a little Google Earth from somewhere and just see what picking up on the land as well. So that's like remote viewing, where you can link in and do a lot of spiritual balancing and cleansing from, you know, do a lot of work around spiritual cleaning and obviously anything that's going on untoward in people's houses as well, and getting to the bottoms of the story of spirits that's trying to be mischievous or going on, and why is it unsettled in somebody's house, and why is the taps coming on at 3 o'clock in the morning every morning and stuff like that as well. So we do all that, the house clearance, we do stuff from a distance, and again, it's like people might not sense what's going on, but it can be totally from a different decade, but they can be on a reloop or anything.
Yeah, awesome. So if nobody's got any more questions, we're going to wrap up.
Yeah.
Gary, you got anything you need to say, want to say?
If you've not bought tickets yet, folks, please share this video. Have a look at the Corn Exchange in Leeds. Come along, experience it. You're around amazing people, amazing team. And also, again, hopefully you'll have an amazing experience. And just be part of the night as well, because if you don't get out there, you're not going to experience it as well. So come along, experience it, see what we sense, see what we feel, see what you feel, interact as well, and then always give what you're given as well. You know, I've seen people where they'll go to a museum, they'll walk around in the day, but go there of a night time, and it's like totally different. Everything's just totally different. So you've got an experience of these places and keep getting out and about as well.
Awesome. So yeah,
Well said.
I'll pop the link on this chat if I can figure out how, no guarantees. Otherwise, you'll find the link to our website on our Facebook page, lostsoulparanormal.co.uk. The tickets are on there for everything, for Hinckley, for Corn Exchange, for the Underground Street. You have to be quick for that one though.
Yes.
If you are a member of a team, you want to come as a group, then please message either me or Gemma, because we are doing a reduced rate for groups to join us at the Corn Exchange, purely because groups do not take as much looking after. So we're going to reduce the price for you. Okay. So yeah, let us know if you fancy joining us, and we'll see you all later. Bye.
Take it easy, folks. Stay safe.
See ya.